Good evening. An investigation by ITV Meridian has found a number of high street Halloween costumes on sale this year can still catch fire despite strict new tests. Firefighters found that while all of them meet and exceed current safety rules, many of them still burn within seconds. Matt Price reports.
A light in a matter of seconds. An ITV News investigation has found that despite more stringent testing, a number of high street Halloween costumes can still catch fire. We've been working with firefighters to conduct a non-scientific experiment to see how 6 big brands perform. And while these 3 costumes either fail to light or take time to burn, others appear to be more easily lit. Here at 6 seconds, and then 30 seconds after we put a flame to the costumes.
So what we've looked at is a costume catching fire. Very often this is an accidental. I'd encourage parents, if they do intend having candles around, then please consider LED ones or battery operated ones as an alternative.
It's quite frightening, isn't it?
Julie Baldacchino and her daughter Gabby have first-hand experience of an accident involving a candle.
All I heard was, "Mummy, help me." I turned round, she was a ball of flames.
8 years ago, it was Gabby's costume which caught fire.
I had first, second and third degree burns, like 3rd degree on my shoulder and the top of my left arm. It took a couple of years to really heal.
Between April 2014 and March last year, there were 21 child hospital admissions in England due to injuries caused from burning clothes. They're treated at specialist units like this, and for sister Julie Baker, if a costume catches fire at home, time is of the essence.
Stop them running around because it will fan the flames. Drop them to the floor, roll them so the flames go out. Once it goes out, you need to cool them off. They need 15 to 20 minutes of cool running water.
All of the costumes we tested are made from polyester, and while one leading textile expert says that material is fit for purpose, it can present some problems.
Inherently, there's nothing real problem with polyester, except like many textiles, it does burn. One of the real problems, however, it shrinks, which can create an apparent flame retardancy because it shrinks away from an igniting source. But if it does ignite, then it forms not only molten drops, but flaming molten drops.
Halloween costumes only have to meet European toy safety standards, so therefore don't legally need to conform to a tougher test performed on nightwear. The government's advice is to always check for costumes with a CE mark. But now one body which works with retailers has created its own voluntary test for 2016, which requires costumes to burn even slower than nightwear.
The retail industry decided that in order to meet customer expectations, we'd test the costumes to a higher standard, which is the nightwear standard. That was done last year. Now this year we've developed a code of practice which goes beyond that, and it basically states that a costume needs to burn at a certain rate.
All of the retailers featured in our investigation are testing their Halloween outfits to a much higher standard than is legally required, either to the British Retail Consortium standard or conducting their own tough in-house tests. In statements issued to us, both Sainsbury's and Wilko say customer safety is a priority. Morrisons and Tesco tell us this year they've looked closely at the design of their dressing up outfits. Asda say all of their costumes are safe, while B&M Retail say they've brought the findings of our investigation to their suppliers' urgent attention. This weekend, thousands of children will be wearing costumes just like these here today. All carry the "Keep Away from Fire" labels. That's advice the fire service only reinforce.
And there's more on the safety standards of costumes on our website, itv.com/Meridian. In other news tonight, the man who stabbed and beat Hampshire pensioner Georgina Edmonds to death in 2008 has failed to convince top judges he was the victim of a miscarriage of justice. 37-year-old Matthew Hamlin was jailed for life in January. He appeared via video link at the Court of Appeal in London, but judges refused the right to appeal. A woman and 3 teenage boys have been arrested after a man was stabbed in Southsea. The 28-year-old was injured on Sedgley Close in Somerstown at 8:30 last night. He's since been released from hospital. Police are investigating reports the stabbing was linked to an earlier argument involving a child wearing a clown mask. There's no evidence to suggest that patients came to harm when the South East Coast Ambulance Service delayed sending ambulances to less serious 111 calls. However, a new NHS report says there were other significant failings with the controversial pilot scheme that saw ambulances delayed for 20,000 patients. The Duke of Edinburgh proved you're never too old to try something new today, and at 95 years of age took a ride on the world's first vertical cable car. His Royal Highness officially opened Brighton's I360, and unlike the early days of the attraction, everything went without a glitch. Here's Andy Dickinson.
Prince Philip arrives at Brighton's newest attraction, the I360, now officially holding the Guinness World Record for the world's most slender tower. The Duke of Edinburgh meeting the designers and construction team before taking advantage of a 136-metre ride into the Sussex sky.
We wrote to His Royal Highness to see whether he would be interested to open British Airways I360, and very much to our delight, and he said yes, he would be delighted to.
He's been a champion of good design and innovative problem solving for arts and the industry for more than 50 years. It's a kind of crowning glory, hopefully.
Since its earlier teething problems breaking down 3 times in 4 days, the tower is on course to now welcome its 200,000th visitor, the Duke reaching the ground before unveiling a plaque.
And it's a great honour that you've come to visit us today and open British Airways I360. It's been opened.
Prince Philip is now eating lunch in the restaurant downstairs, the royal standard flying behind me of the I360, having been given his seal of approval. Andy Dickinson, ITV News, Brighton.
Well, just 2 hours later, Prince Philip was in Portsmouth, wrestling with a ceremonial sword as he cut a cake to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Royal Marine School of Music moving to its current home. The Duke toured the building and met some of the trainee musicians.
Oh God, massively respect him. You know, he's such an important figure to everybody and such an idol to everybody, I suppose.
I never thought I'd be able to say I've done something for the royal family or met someone from the royal family, so it's pretty awesome that he's come here today.
It's been absolutely fantastic. He was on top form, very, very interested in what we do here at the Royal Marine School of Music, and very engaging with the trainees here, and he took plenty of time to speak to every individual that he could.
It was used to plan and coordinate the Normandy landings, but now the Map Room at Southwark House near Portsmouth faces an uncertain future. The Ministry of Defence, who own it, has announced it will be sold in order to be turned into housing. The leader of Hampshire County Council has asked for it to be given Grade 2 listed status to protect the building. A giant poppy carving the size of half a football pitch has been unveiled near Salisbury to mark the start of the Wiltshire Poppy Appeal. At 25 metres wide, the Flanders poppy at Fovant Down is the first chalk badge to have been carved into the hillside since 1970.
The Hague Poppy Fund, which has been now going since 1919, and it became the symbol of remembrance, and every year they've been sold and worn, as you know, and a great deal of money has been collected on behalf of the Royal British Legion, donated by members of the public.
Time now for the weekend weather forecast. Here's Simon.
From sleet to the slopes, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Good evening. Well, there's no need to feel too grumpy about the weather this weekend because things are going to be calm and settled and relatively pleasant. There will be a fair bit of cloud at times. We'll also see some bright spells here and there, and all the while temperatures are going to be above average for the time of year. The exciting weather just at the minute is sitting out in the Atlantic. That's where the low pressure and the rain and the strong winds are. For us, we've got high pressure that's going to stay in charge right through the weekend and right into next week, and that means nothing too terrible is going to happen. sun. That said, tonight we do have some clear spells, and that's where we're going to see the mist and fog developing again. Now, it won't be a pea super like it was the other day, but there will be enough to cause perhaps a few travel traumas first thing tomorrow morning. Very mild start as well, 12 or 13, the overnight low. So Saturday will be grey, whether it's the mist that's going to lift into low cloud or just the low cloud. There'll be a fair bit of grey to get us going as we head through the day. Winds staying light, 5-10 miles an hour, and we should see a few bits of brightness here and there, with the temperatures even under the cloud reaching around 15, maybe 16 degrees. Then, of course, the clocks go back to take us into Sunday, and a bit more brightness on Sunday itself.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
And don't forget, the clocks go back tomorrow night. And that's all from us tonight. We're back tomorrow afternoon at 5:30. But from all of us here on the Late Team, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Good night.